Hi everybody, Jacob Reed here from ReviewEcon.com. We're about to go over the 2026 macroeconomics exam question that was released a little bit ago. Before we get into it, I want to thank everybody for your support of ReviewEcon.com. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I know the exam's over, but it does really help Review Econ with the algorithm for YouTube. One more thing. I want to remind everybody, I don't know what the answers are going to be. These are just my guesses of what I think will show up on the rubric based on my understanding of macroeconomics as well as previous rubrics that have been released. But I can't guarantee I'm correct. And sometimes the rubrics surprise me a little bit. But this is what I think the answers are. Let me know what you think about my answers in the comments. And this was the last exam for most of my students. Hopefully your exams went well as well. If you have any more macroeconomic or any more AP exams, I hope they go well for you. All right, let's go ahead and get into the question. All right, so first off, we have the economy of Micanapy. Not exactly sure how to pronounce that one more time, but they are currently in short-run equilibrium and they have an inflationary gap. So we're going to draw an ASAD model showing the aggregate supply, both long run and short run, as well as the aggregate demand curve. And we're going to have the price level, real output marked, as well as the full employment level of output. There you go. There's my answer there. I think that graph is going to be 2 points. 1 point for the current equilibrium quantity with the ASAD, with the short run aggregate supply curve and AD curve there. And the second point will be for adding in the LRAS to the left of that current equilibrium point with YF below. All right, there's our inflationary gap ASAD model. Okay, moving on to part B. Assume that policymakers take no action to close the inflationary gap. We're going to explain how Micanapy's economy will self-adjust to full employment in the long run. So this is just a natural movement back to long run equilibrium with no policy interventions. Here's our answer. In the long run, wages, or you could say other resource prices as well, will increase, causing the short run aggregate supply curve to shift to the left until real output decreases to the full employment level of output. And if you have an answer something like that, I think you'll get your point. On to part C. Suppose instead that Micanapy's central bank is considering using monetary policy to close the inflationary gap in the short run, and they currently have limited reserves. We're just going to identify an open market operation that the central bank of Micanapy can use to close that gap in the short run. All right, so remember, open market operations is just two things. It's either buying bonds or selling bonds. And when it comes to limited reserves, those work to change the policy rate. So since they're trying to slow down the economy, they are going to want to increase the interest rate, which means they want to decrease the supply in the money market, which would cause that increase in the interest rate. So decreasing the supply comes from selling bonds. Selling bonds makes the money supply smaller and eventually leads to the economy shrinking a bit. All right, on to the next part. Next, we're going to draw a money market showing the selling of bonds that we just identified. There are a lot of consistency points in these questions, by the way. So if any of your answers differed, then the following answers will just need to be opposite of whatever I have here in order to get those follow-up points, most likely. All right. So I have my downward sloping money demand curve, my vertical money supply curve. That'll be your first point showing that first equilibrium. The second point will probably be from shifting that supply curve to the left, showing the selling of bonds. And you got to show that increase in that nominal interest rate. I think you'll get 2 points for this graph. On to part D, based solely on the change in the interest rate that we just showed, will each of the following increase, decrease, or remain the same in the short run? First, the international financial capital flows into Micanapy, and we have to explain this one. Here's my answer here. It's going to increase, and that's because the higher interest rates that we just saw. So those foreign investors are going to seek those higher interest rates that are found in Micanapy. I'm a little uncomfortable having my explanation here so short, but I think that's all they're going to be looking for. All right, on to the next part. The price of previously issued bonds. Remember that we just saw the interest rate go up in our money market, and the prices of previously issued bonds always go in the opposite direction, so decrease. On to part D, private domestic investment spending. That's just another term for gross investment. Hopefully you understood that. And since the interest rate went up, we're going to have an inverse relationship to the purchases of physical capital or gross investment. And so that's a decrease as well. So it's just the opposite of the interest rate, because when interest rates are high, businesses borrow less and purchase less domestic investment. All right, on to part E. Based solely on the change in private domestic investment spending identified in part D, will the unemployment rate in Micanapy increase, decrease, or remain the same in the short run? And we have to explain again. Here's my answer here. Increase, because the decrease in investment spending will decrease aggregate demand, which decreases real output. All right, I think you're going to need that investment spending there. It would probably be even better if my answer said gross investment, because that's the specific demand shifter. So there's a chance I may be a little short there, but I think I'll make it there. I'll make the bar, I think, where they'll set it. So that decrease, you got to connect it to the graph though of that ASAD model shift. All right, on to the second question. We have a whole bunch of numbers in a table, and with all those numbers, the first thing we need to do is say how many people are employed in Foxhound. This is the country there. By the way, Foxhound is currently in short run equilibrium, and they've got that data in the table. All right, so we have our labor force, which is 15 million people. We have the number of people that are not working but are looking for work. Those are unemployed people. So the people that are employed is going to be the labor force minus the unemployed. So I'm going to take that 15 million, subtract the 900,000, and that gives me 14,100,000 people. And I think that's what you'll need. You don't have to show your work on this one. On to part B, you're going to calculate the unemployment rate found in Foxhound, and we're going to show our work here. And so the unemployment rate, remember, is the labor force, is the number of unemployed people divided by the labor force, then times 100. And so I'm just going to plug in the numbers up there. That 900,000, those are the number of unemployed people. The 15 million is the number of people in the labor force. Times that by 100, that's a 6% unemployment rate. And you do have to show your work in order to get this point. Over to part C, draw a correctly labeled graph of the short run Phillips curve and long run Phillips curve. And we're going to label the current short run equilibrium as point X, and we're going to plot the relevant values on the graph. And so here's what I've got here. We have our downward sloping short run Phillips curve. I have the current equilibrium unemployment rate that I just calculated. That is 6%. And I have a 3% natural rate, that's from the table up above, and we have the current inflation rate as 2%, also from the table we already saw. All right, I think you'll get 2 points from this. I'm not exactly sure where those points are going to fall, but I think the graph will be 2 points. On to part D. If some individuals who are counted as employed retire, will the unemployment rate increase, decrease, or remain the same? And we have to explain again. So remember, employed people are part of the labor force and they are not unemployed. But then when people become retired, they are neither unemployed nor employed. They're not part of the labor force even. So that leads me to my answer here. It's going to increase, and that's because the size of the labor force will decrease and the number of unemployed will remain unchanged. And I think that'll be enough. In regards to, I'm referencing the formula. It might even be better if you reference the formula as well, but I think that'll be enough. On to part 3, or question number 3. Now we have Lizland. They're a small island nation, and the currency is the Lizland crown. The economy is in short run equilibrium. They have a 600 million crown recessionary gap. So the policymakers want to take action to close that gap. First, we've got our central bank. They have ample reserves, and we have to identify a monetary policy action that they would take. Now, when we have ample reserves, there are 2 possible things you could say here. That is either decrease interest on reserves, or you could say decrease administered rates. Either of those, I think, are going to get a point, but that decrease is going to help close that recessionary gap. On to part A-II. We're told that the government is considered changing its spending. That's fiscal policy here. And the marginal propensity to consume is 0.75. We're going to calculate the minimum change of government spending and identify the direction of that change required to fully close the 600 million crown recessionary gap in the short run. And we're going to show our work. First, I'm going to calculate my multiplier. That's 1 divided by 1 minus the MPC, which is 0.25. So that's what it reduces down to, 1 divided by 0.25, which gives us a spending multiplier of 4. Then I'm also going to take that 600 million, divide it by that multiplier of 4, and that gives us $150 million change in GDP, and that needs to be an increase in spending because that will increase real output, closing that recessionary gap. All right, on to part B. We're going to assume that the government of Lizland decides to change its spending, the amount that we calculated, and then based solely on that change, will the price level increase, decrease, or remain the same? And we're going to explain here. And the explanation, remember, you always want to connect it to a graph if possible. I'm connecting it to the ASAD model. So it's an increase, and that's because the $150 million increase or million crown increase in government spending will cause the aggregate demand curve to shift to the right. And I think you need that AD connection there in order to get this point. On to part C. The nations of Lizland and Ando are trading partners with flexible exchange rates. The currency of Ando is the Ando note, AND, and we're going to draw a correctly labeled graph of the foreign exchange market for the Lizland crown. And based solely on the change in the price level in part B, we have to show the change in the international value of the Lizland crown on our graph. Now remember, when the price level went up, as we just identified, that's going to make imports relatively cheaper, and it's going to make exports less appealing to foreign consumers because the price levels went up. So that's going to lead me to my graph here. We have our downward sloping demand curve, upward sloping supply curve. We have a rightward shift of that supply because they are going to be importing more, and that causes the exchange rate to depreciate. I believe you could also have a decrease in demand here because of the decrease in the exports as a result of the higher price level, and that is also going to cause the currency to depreciate. And I think either one of those shifts is going to be acceptable. And there you have it. Those are my best guess answers to the macroeconomics exam this year. I hope it went well for you. Again, I really support I really appreciate your support of reviewecon.com. I wish everybody the best of luck on the rest of the school year, and thank you again. Take care.